Welcome back to Joey's Quizzes and Stuff. Your last assignment was to complete a musical phrase where some common tones were tied or held together. Here's how mine came out. How did yours come out? Our instructions here was to double the third of this chord, because with a minor triad, doubling the third is preferred. I know this violates our contrary motion rule, so be ready to learn about exceptions to the rules in SoundFound Level 2. Well, let's listen to it. For this last video, we'll touch on non-chordal tones, and then give you a simple checklist to go over when you're doing future assignments in Sound Foundations Level 2. So what is a non-chordal tone? A non-chordal tone is any tone sounded at the same time or during a chord which does not belong to the specified chord. Depending on the tone, there are multiple names for them. Passing tones, auxiliary tones, suspensions, appoggiaturas, etc. Passing tones are like stairs. You have a chordal tone which leaps to another chordal tone, so you put passing tones in to make it more of a conjunct melody as opposed to a disjunct melody. Auxiliary tones are like dips in a particular voice. You begin on a chordal tone, then either drop or raise a step, and then return back to your original tone. Suspensions are carrying over a tone from a chord into a new chord which creates dissonance, and then resolving by completing the new chord. Finally, appoggiaturas are sounding a non-chordal tone at the same time a chord is struck, then resolving into that chord. Yes, there are more rules and exceptions and things to worry about with these types of non-chordal tones, but you don't have to deal with all that till SoundFound. Now for your simple checklist. I made an acronym out of it. VAX-DAPPLES. Voice crossing. No voice should cross another voice or the note another voice just left by greater than one step. Augmented second. Found in harmonic minor scales between the 6th and 7th scale degrees. Key signature and accidentals. Make sure you have your key listed correctly and all accidentals are written in appropriately. Spell. Are all members of your chord present and correct doubling rules followed? Direct fifths and octaves. Check your soprano and bass for ascending leaps, which form these. Augmented fourth. Found in harmonic minor scales between the 4th and 7th scale degrees, the 6th up to the 2nd, and in the major scale between the 4th and 7th scale degrees. Parallel fifth and octaves. Check all 4 voices for a fifth moving to form another fifth, an octave moving to an octave, and unison to unison. Over an octave. Make sure soprano, alto, and tenor never move more than 1 octave from their neighbor, and never more than 2 octaves between the tenor and bass. Leading tone. In a minor key, you will have to manually raise this with an accidental. Also, if it's in an outer voice, make sure it doesn't leave by a leap. Suspensions. You may never have the resolution to a suspended note in an upper voice already sounding in another upper voice, unless they are a major ninth apart. Yes, I know this may be overwhelming, but you'll get these rules one at a time with much better instruction. You have nothing to worry about. Happy harmony!